We're just telling you that if you were going to say something, let it be that Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson are anti-Semitic. And we're not giving you any proof of that other than this no string attached payment via Bitcoin, which is kind of untraceable.
Candace Owens has found out that the pastors smearing her and Tucker Carlson are on the take. Here, let's hear what she has to say.
I know for a fact, because I know someone who took the money, and they wouldn't tell me what billionaire it was, but I can tell you around May of this year, whenever I termed it Operation Mocking Pastor was happening, where every pastor, it seemed, jumped on stage one Sunday and said, don't follow Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, a very weird sermon to preach all on the same day. It was right after Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson had debated. There was a billionaire that went out and offered what they said to me was an obscene amount of money for people to begin influencing by creating anti-Candace and Tucker videos. So that's how it works. I mean, that is just.
So she's got some inside info on what she calls mockingbird pastors. So they're in some kind of collusion. Because you can't say conspiracy because that sounds crazy. You have to say collusion, like the Russiagate people. So they were colluding to smear, slander, and try to discredit Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens all on the same Sunday. Isn't that weird? It is weird. Let's hear. Now, here she's got more. She's going to show you what they've been saying.
Some of us spent the same amount of time we did on Fox News as we do the Bible. There would be a revival in America today. Some of you listen to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and these guys are anti-Semitic. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to say it. They're anti-Semitic, and their rhetoric is dangerous.
So we decided to prod further because now I'm like, okay, well, the one thing I can tell you about Candace Owens, she's not an anti-Semite, but she does love herself an investigation. Amen. Amen. Okay. So we decided to prod a little bit further, reach out to some of these congregants that were sending us clips. And so specifically about that guy, I said, like, is this a normal thing? Does he normally speak about Israel and Bibi Netanyahu? And they said, no, actually, he had just come back from a trip to Israel. We didn't know he was going to Israel. He came back from a trip to Israel, and suddenly he was telling us that we needed to donate to Israel. LOL, if you have a job, you donate to Israel, my friends. Trillions of tax dollars, weaponry, you're good, okay? But he said that they needed to donate to Israel, and suddenly they're getting sermons about Bibi Netanyahu, and I'm like, what? I couldn't imagine my priest never, not once, I've been Catholic for a year and a half, never once has brought up a political person ever in the homily. But okay, I'm like, now I'm getting what they're talking about because I know that these churches, these mega churches, otherwise, they can be sponsored on trips to, these, like, they're well taken care of. They go over on these overseas trips by these organizations that purport to be alliances. And they said, yes, actually, this was one of these trips. It was sponsored by an organization called Eagle Wings, which is a quote unquote alliance between Christians and Jews. Now, here's what I'm saying. Just taking a look at this website that sponsored this particular pastor, if it's an alliance between Christian and Jews, should there be a crucifix? Like, do you see Christ? What kind of alliance is this? I just see the Star of David. I see the state of Israel right off the bat. What kind of alliance is this? Does this mean like we get to work for the state of Israel? Like, just looking at the vibes. Anyways, scroll down. You can pull that back up. I want to just see, because you see what are these upcoming events? Okay, here's some upcoming events. If you'd like to attend I Stand With Israel and get a frontline update, you can attend Torah Tuesdays. Okay, that sounds fun. What are we handing out on Torah Tuesdays? Like Taco Tuesdays, Torah Tuesdays. And we've got Shabbat. These are the upcoming events. I am amazed by this. Okay, I'm not really sure what Christians get out of this. Anyways, like I said.
So there she is letting you know that these pastors at these mega churches are on the take, and that they're subverting themselves to an Israel first position. And she's exactly right. This is supposed to be a Jewish and Christian alliance. Well, where's the Christianity? It's nowhere to be. This is all about propping up Israel. It's all about propping up Israel. And she's right about that. And she's like, so she's showing you that these pastors are already on the take. They're already taking money from Israel, already taking money from the Zionists. They're already doing that to brainwash their congregations to be pro-Israel. They're already doing that. And, I know God commands his spokespeople to be honest, forthright, and adherent to only doing the right thing unless the money is just simply too good to turn down. And, then you got to slander Tucker Carlson, you got to slander Candace Owens, and you got to do it in collusion with a bunch of other pastors on the same day. Isn't that interesting? I wonder where that directive came from to do that. I don't know. Did it come from a certain Middle Eastern country? Did it? Did it come from Zionists? Where did that order come from? Because that's what happened. And so she found an email. This was an email to not that guy's church, another one, talking about how they get people, pastors, to do this kind of stuff, to do the bidding of Israel and brainwash their congregation and slander people like Tucker and Candace. Here, let's listen.
And understanding and cooperation. And here is the email, as you can see, that went out on June 20th. It says, we've obviously covered anything that was identifying here. We verified this. We had screen recordings, everything. It says, I hope this message finds you well. At the Center for Jewish Christian Understanding and Cooperation, we've always believed that the strength of our communities lies in how we show up for one another, especially in difficult times. That's why I'm reaching out. Recently, we've been troubled by certain statements made by public voices like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, individuals with large platforms whose words carry weight. While we understand and respect differing political views, the language they've used lately has crossed a line. It's not just provocative and controversial. In some cases, it's veered into rhetoric that echoes classic anti-Semitic tropes, questioning Jewish loyalty, downplaying the Holocaust, and framing Jewish communities as global manipulators. Now, it's going to get a little ironic here because if you're going to talk about a little bit of manipulation, it's going to come at the end of this email. Here's the second page of the email. It may not always be obvious at first glance, but to those of us who've seen where this kind of speech leads, it's deeply unsettling. We're not asking anyone to take sides politically. This is about something deeper, about spiritual accountability and the moral influence church leaders like yourself have in shaping how people treat one another. With that in mind, we'd be grateful if you'd consider speaking briefly on this in one of your upcoming services. Even a few words encouraging awareness, compassion, and caution when engaging with media voices that spread division under the cover of opinion. And if you're open to it and willing to share a recording or a summary of your message, we'd like to offer a small gesture of support, a donation of $2,500 in Bitcoin to your congregation.
Untraceable.
No strings attached. No, it sounded to me like there was very much string attached here. Just an expression of our thanks and solidarity. Please feel free to reply directly if you'd like to connect further, or if we can provide any background resources for your message. And I want to be clear, guys. There's no strings attached. Do it. And we'll give you $2,500 in Bitcoin, which is not really traceable whatsoever, but it's to show our alliance. And we're not telling you what to say. We're just telling you that if you were going to say something, let it be that Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson are anti-Semitic. And we're not giving you any proof of that other than this no string attached payment via Bitcoin, which is kind of untraceable. Huh?
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that's, of course, we've heard these. I mean, didn't Jesus go into the temple and overturn the tables of the money changers inside the temple? That's what they're supposed to be doing. So of course churches are easily corrupted. And so are these pastors. And she's been on it with her stories about mockingbird pastors repeating lines that they've been told to repeat for money. Boy, she really is good at this. I got to tell you, she's really good at this. So good on Candace Owens. She discovers that the pastors that are slandering and trying to discredit her and Tucker Carlson are on the take. Isn't that weird? Or no, or is it expected? Because I would say it's expected. And people who are slandering Tucker or Candace Owens over their criticisms of Israel are either being paid to do so or are just lying Zionists, right? Because in order to be a good Zionist, it means to be a good liar. Because you can't tell the truth about the Nakba. You can't tell the truth about the founding of Israel. You can't tell the truth about why all the Israeli prime ministers changed their name to sound more Middle Eastern. You can't tell the truth about the genocide they're committing. You can't tell the truth about the war crimes they're committing. You can't tell the truth about every war that we fought in the Middle East has been at the behest of Benjamin Netanyahu and the Zionist project. You can't tell the truth about what the Greater Israel Project is. So good on Candace Owens. She keeps it going. She finds out stuff nobody else is finding out. Why isn't that front page news? That there's a string of pastors colluding together to slander the number one newsman in America and the number one podcast host, Candace Owens. You think that'd be front page story? You think that'd be top of the news? It's not. You got to go to Candace Owens or you got to come here. That's about the only two places really talking about this stuff. Isn't that interesting? If you'd like to hear me talk about it more, come see me in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. I'll be in Burbank, California at Flappers Comedy Club the day after Thanksgiving. It's November 28th. It's a Friday. Most people are off. I'm not off. I'll see you in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th and January 11th in Waikiki, Hawaii, on the beach at the Blue Note Theater. It's a beautiful theater. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. See us in Australia. Second show's added in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. We'll see you in Burbank, California the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Plus, January 11th, we're going to be in Waikiki at the Blue Note. Tickets not available yet for them, but go to jimmydore.com for a link for all the other tickets.